być inaczej.
Taková
Tak to mnie
pohodička z
przychodzi w ogóle.
kafičkem.
Nie, to właśnie tu z Maciekiem zacząłem rozmawiać i tak
Perfect,
właśnie
thank you.
rozmawiamy o tych zmianach i to jest najlepsze dowód, wiesz, jak bla 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 bla, zapominamy o połączeniu z Davidem Mossem o 12, no i to wtedy jest już taki właśnie taki już kolaps, że już nie ma, że ten śmiech, te moje żarty zaczynają być niesmaczne, rozumiecie? To jest troszeczkę.
Ale kawa jest smaczna.
So, you know, I will sit here,
Ja, fajnie.
that will be like we are
Yes.
4
Yeah.
lectures,
Yeah.
but then there are 3 and we are 4, okay.
Yeah.
What is missing, I guess?
You must be in the center.
You know, we can switching. Yeah. So that the total number will stay.
So many shows when we played those serious no audience concerts, you know, that was
Yeah.
amazing because people are coming and we sent some message which didn't work.
Yeah.
A lot of apologize of people which were not able to come and they said, well, no audience concert, why you apologize?
Yeah.
Classic.
But yes, but okay, I think it's a time, or we can wait another hour for the people.
Yeah. Or 2. Or till 6.
But
Yeah.
2 o'clock to make you not scared, but also maybe a little bit surprised. You know, the next lecture is Pierre Jodlowski.
I see.
And
He's on the air. He's flying now from Munich.
Oh, wow.
He's landing 1:45. I sent him a message that he has a choice, either to take a cab, which I think is the best, but there's another solution. There's a very fast train from the airport, 18 minutes, faster than taxi,
Then the cap.
and arriving to the main railway station, and then there's a 10 minutes walk to the academy.
And start the lecture.
Yes, and then the train which I found him is 1:22, arriving 1:45, and there's a 10 minutes walk.
It's fantastic.
I did it many times, you know, in my
Yeah,
life,
yeah.
and sometimes working, sometimes. So he chose taxi.
For
He's
1
saying
hour.
that he's extremely tired and so on, but finally he sent me the message from Munich because I couldn't catch him for the last 3 days.
Sure.
He's ready and waiting for answer. So there's a big chance that he will come at 1. So that's why we shouldn't delay so much.
Yes.
Fine.
We will get it.
We are
Yeah.
ready.
We will.
So the camera is here.
Hi, everyone.
I don't know whether you can check on your mobile phone. whether
Yeah, actually there
we
is,
see
you know, there
that.
is the
there's,
Yeah,
it
the
goes
feedback.
right.
On the screen.
So, you know, forget what we said before because it was unofficial.
yeah.
Now we go official. Okay.
So we can start joking.
We are starting the lecture by significant artists from Czech Republic. We are cooperating already for some time, and that's really great cooperation. So thank you very much for your visit. Now everything is perfect. I'm afraid a little bit. It's so perfect with the piano. So Sára, Vít and Ivo, Sára, Vít and Ivo, they're
Sára.
with us. Okay, you see them the names on the screen, and they will talk about the recent project. Maybe I will go like
I'm
this.
not sure
Yes,
about
you
your
are.
Okay.
Yeah, wonderful.
Okay.
We can see you.
Like this. Now I will be in this
Yeah.
very profound.
center.
Center.
Yeah, I'm in the center.
Yeah.
So TiAmo is the project. TiAmo is chamber opera with very spectacular references, and I'm looking forward very much for this social public cultural reference, which is extremely important. But I will not talk about because that's your turn. And we are looking forward because the project will be presented at 6 o'clock at the concert hall at the Academy, so the same building. But now we have the significant chance to get your introduction.
Thank
So your turn. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you. Thank you.
On the end.
Thank you.
So when I say thank you very much for your coming, that means that.
Thank you very much for the invitation, Marek. It's a pleasure for us to be here again. It's a pleasure to meet your students and maybe some online students who are there with us.
They're all like PhD
Yeah.
Very much HD.
Okay, only maybe a few words about ourselves. Sára, all of three, we are composers. Yes, it's one fact. The second fact that Sára is a famous Czech piano player, and she performs historical music with orchestra, solo recitals, of course, abroad. And she's focused on contemporary music, very much performing more than 100 first performances of new works. And we met in this combination many years ago, and a few, about, I don't know, in the middle of, since the middle of the 21st century, it means about 2015, or when we, I'm not sure about the exact date, when we started with our projects.
If you mean, for example, Ensemble Mariam, then we started at 2010. This I remember.
Yes, but originally it was the last year of the 20th century when this ensemble was established, and since the time we have produced a few, or maybe several pieces of multimedia character, but also purely musical works. It is all the speech of ours now about the teamwork, about the team composition, which seems to be a specific approach to creation of composition, having a long tradition in Czech music and the so-called Brno composing school in particular. I forgot to introduce Vítě, sorry. Vítě is
yes, we all.
well-known Czech composer, and his attitude is mostly based of fusion of aspects of American minimal music combined with outputs of Baroque music, and everything is very homogeneous output, and I like it very much.
I would like to introduce Ivo, because I know that everybody knows him, but for these people online, they are not so known with him. So Ivo is famous Czech composer, performer, improviser, comproviser, and founder of the Ensemble Marian. And he's also very involved in teaching composition, but not just at the Czech Academy of Music. I mean, doctoral students, the MA students, but he's also very strong involved, and Sára too, teaching children how to compose, and actually how to compose without barriers.
Beat too.
And yeah, and we have a brilliant, I mean, very useful program, what calls Slyšet jinak in Czech, different hearing, and it is running for more than 20 years. And yeah, so I wanted just to mention it because that we all know how, you know, how large and wide our Ivo's influence.
It's quite interesting that you didn't mention that he was a rector of
you know,
yeah, this is so obvious, you know.
Yeah,
all know about.
Yeah, yeah, sure. That's also important. Ivo, not just rector, he was also dean for many years of Czech Academy of Music. But you know, I am vice rector for 12 years. And
I think that he was very close to another function, quite important function, but we don't need to mention.
yeah. But actually, I think.
Ministry of
yeah.
Culture.
Yes.
That's another story. Okay.
Yeah, and and probably from this point of view, I think, it's very important part of his personality. But anyway, I think this influence on young generation is much more important. Yeah. I think so. Wow. So.
Okay, back to the history. I would like to mention one very important aspect about the teamwork, because this approach has started in the middle of the 60s, organized by teachers of ours, Alois Piños, well-known composer, and his friends, and the charm of this approach is based on fact that we compose really parallelly or simultaneously. It means the piece is not divided into sections and each composer composes one section. We work in horizontal layers. It means the first composer starts with the first gesture, first line, first voice, and he or she is handing over to the second one, who adds something, and to third one if there are more than two, and the score rotates in this way until the moment when all of us are satisfied. Yeah.
By the way,
Satisfaction.
in the beginning of 70s, one very influential musicologist published an article which was called in German Schreibgeige, ich mache die Trompete. Das Trompet. Entschuldigung bitte. Yeah, so, but anyway, he just mentioned that actually one is written one layer, one instrument, and the other another one. And it was a famous article published in one influential German periodical. Yeah.
It's, I think that this approach is very, very interesting. Sára can continue, of course, because she is working in this way too.
Yeah, from my point of view, there are many benefits which you can find in teamwork composition. For example, if you collaborate with your colleagues, with your friends, and you have to find some way how to combine your different music languages, because all of us three, for example, are totally different music approaches and music language, and if we collaborate, we are finding the way how to express our music feeling and make some work, and also it helps me to postpone the work much more faster than I'm only the one composer who writes the music, because for example you have a session in 3 weeks and you have to write something, because then your colleagues will they have no chance to.
It's embarrassing to come and to have nothing.
Yeah, exactly. So it brings a lot of benefits to work together.
And maybe I would add one tricky or important point. As you mentioned, Ivo was rector of Janáček Academy of Music. I am vice rector for education at Palacký University for many, many years. And it means if we are leading such, big and important university, so you need to establish policies, establish rules, etc., etc. We suppose that it is not important, but we realize that actually the university.
We are busy.
Yes, exactly.
We are in charge and
Yes, yes.
So that is
But
quite important. And
if
I'm
are
not
you
talking about propounded function.
Yeah.
This is completely another
Yeah.
story.
But if we are composing together or we are creating together, we are realizing we don't need nothing like that. And that's very important. I mean, also a social point in this activity, that actually we all are in some environment where more and more rules and more policies are established, and nobody knows and they take care about it. But on such a model like what we are doing, we are coming back to these roots and principles that actually the society doesn't need it.
It's interesting. It means that some ensemble has a rehearsal in the concert hall, I think. I don't know.
Yeah.
Perhaps there's a Czech group.
Yeah.
Rehearsing now, and I don't know.
Without us.
Too loud.
It's, yeah.
Oh,
But
it's fine.
The door
Okay.
is open.
Yeah,
Just
it's
the door.
fine.
There's our orchestra from Chamber Hall.
I
Uh-huh.
see. Just
It's fine.
close the door.
It's
and-
fine.
It's you can hardly stop it. Yeah. Okay, it's important to realize that there are more attitudes which are used by ours. It means not only the way that when a complete score is created, but also we work in layers, combining, for example, electronic music with improvised music and composed layer. Yeah? It means there are more aspects which appear in the TiAmo project in particular. Sometimes only or less aspects are pre-composed. For example, the scheme of the macro structure is done and more space for improvised music. Or the scheme can be done by, for example, in the project called Soundscapes, which we performed in Warsaw at Ad Libitum Festival.
And here too.
And
I think so.
maybe, I don't know.
Maybe we can.
Yeah, we can. It was one
This one.
based on poetry, and one poem was transformed into musical gestures, and it was, and only a few things were done more in details or prepared more in details. It means in pitches, some melodic short lines, and more and objects. And it is about, I don't know, 10 years, more than 10 years, 15 years ago or 13 years ago.
2008 byla napsána Soundscape.
2008, thank you. It's necessary to have a good external memory. And there are also some very important visual aspects. The video by Tomáš Hruza,
Pustíme kus.
interactive video reacting on music and with live drawings, and also a huge sculpture which was done by Dan Dlouhý, the head of Dama Dama ensemble, who also cooperated with us on this piece, such a sculpture with amplified sculpture. We can have a look for a short piece. about 40 or 45 minutes. I mean, the lasting piece. And there are more projects with Ensemble Marianne, but probably it would be good to introduce the projects which three of us were working on, and it is the project called Tastes. Mitja?
Yeah, Tastes. Yeah, it was a piece which we performed with pleasure here in 2016 at your great festival. And it was inspired by tea ceremony in Shanghai. It was just by occasion we performed, or Sára performed concerts in Shanghai at conservatory. We had speeches, lectures. And during the free time, we visited the town, and somebody asked or invited us to enjoy the tea ceremony. And we realized during tasting diverse teas that and smells, yeah, that the affinity between tasting, diverse, teas, but also wines and meals, etc., etc. We are appreciating somehow similar like the sound. It has some attack, it has some stains, and so. And from that point, we came to that idea that we should make something what we can tasting in all of these dimensions. And then probably I tried to introduce Ivo, but I didn't mention one important point.
He's a very good cook.
Yeah, and passionate cook. So the decision was absolutely clear. It is necessary that Ivo will not just perform, but also cook on the on the stage. And that was behind, and on that basis we developed a project what we are enjoying very much, not just because that at the end we are really tasting, because Ivo is really cooking on the stage.
It's live cooking.
Yeah, and it's incredible, we played it for many times. Exactly, the smell. Because
cooking or composed cooking?
Yeah, it is composed.
Good question.
It is composed because the point was that actually at least a half of the performance is running really as serious contemporary concert. So Ivo is playing actually these tools.
And there is a recipe which we are bringing to the audience, our musical way.
yeah, and that is actually also the libretto, or partly the libretto, and it is also the tool or material for video made by Ivo's son Lukáš Medek. Yeah, maybe just short.
Yeah, we can play short, because
you can also find it on the audience website.
Yes. Exactly.
Short.
Exactly. Unfortunately, yeah. Next time. And we can see in the right corner down, Ivo is just now. Yeah. Because Sára in the middle, and she's singing with Jan Kavan, and Ivo is.
The cooking is very simple. It's
Eggs.
eggs only, yeah. But the smell of the onion, it's really very
strong.
very strong, yeah. And penetrative.
And it's
So
surprising.
the test for the alarm.
Yes, exactly. Especially difficult it was in the States. We had to have a special confirmation for that.
Mainly that's protection for fire.
Yeah.
But we played it in many countries, including the United States and everywhere. And only once we had to simulate only.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But it was forbidden.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
I don't know how many times we played it, but really more than 10 times or maybe 20 times, but only once.
It's always the explanation is a beautiful test for the system.
Absolutely.
Whether it's working or not.
Absolutely.
It's the same with our alarm.
Yeah.
At the end,
Switching on by purpose. Waiting for the guys.
Yeah. If it works.
There are various circumstances. Posun to kousíček dál, jenom k tomu kavanovi, jak začne být zuřivej.
yes.
Ne, to je před tím zpíváním. Musíš couvnout zpátky, pokud si zuřivej. Je ten because there were also the recipes are first of all written in such a normal way, but more and more with affect, with rising affect until the moment of straight aggression against the audience. Yeah, and it was we performed it in US in the year of.
Trump was
voted, and it was absolutely Honza Kavan, absolutely great imitation of Trump, crying and the
screaming
aggression.
the recipe to the people. That's amazing.
It was very nice.
Okay.
And
is-
finally, at the end, we bring the eggs to the people, and they can.
They could simply eat.
Yes.
Yeah,
Exactly.
you know.
Yeah. At that time.
Hungry audience.
Yeah.
But now in COVID times, I think it's no chance to do it
Yes.
again.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, with the gloves, with the masks, you know, looking
Yeah.
like a grocery or
Yeah.
hospital service.
Yeah. Yeah.
Clean,
And
it goes one way.
and pack it.
Just
eggs,
open the
yeah.
respirator and
I hope that such time is coming when we will be able to have it also only as a humor.
I think we are flexible in a way. So I
Absolutely.
think this is the point.
Okay, back
It's
to TiAmo project. Yeah.
Next time you need to make vaccination as a musical symbol.
Yes.
To sonificate the vaccination process.
Yes. Oh, that's it. But perhaps you skip it because we have this pandemic media space. We run it during this.
Yes.
14 composers running this large project based on the data coming live. Pandemic minus media minus space.com. That's the,
Yeah.
that's the website.
Maybe before we are switching to TiAmo project, just a small commentary to our cooperation, because our director today is Rok, a famous Slovenian director and stage designer, who is unfortunately not today here. He has to be in Ljubljana because COVID, but it's another point. But
It appeared on my schedule like a magical person.
yeah,
We
yeah,
don't
yeah.
know.
But he
Only
lives.
his
Yeah.
name, you know, and you don't know exactly who it is.
Yeah.
Is he coming or not? He's
Yeah.
showing up all the time. on the-
Yeah. Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
he's surely a real person because
Yes.
he was for several years.
He's real nice.
He was the head of the
National Theatre in Prague.
in Prague and Ljubljana as well.
Yeah. And we, because Ivo cooperated with him on diverse operas, and me too, and we are cooperating also with Tomáš Hanzlík, he's colleague of mine from Palacký University, and we made together in 2011 La Daphne. It's actually not a Perry remake, but it was a new opera based on the ancient libretto. I would say we have not so much time, so probably we'll... 30, okay, just 30 seconds. Okay. One year later. And it was directed by Rob. Etc. etc. So and then so it is a large cooperation with Tomáš, and it's based just a bit diverse. We are working together, but more separate, and also with Rock. With Rock, we are developing a series of another team operas which are called Echo, Metamorphosis, and it is more based on the principle which is also involved in today's performance, and that the idea that actually opera is everything, and it's just a bit similar to Cage. A composition is just sound and silence, and composing of this. And in this idea of opera is that opera is just sound, space, and light. And everything what is combining that is opera. So I just mentioned that these all things or ideas are somehow behind the TiAmo project.
Yeah, it's important to say that yes, that we cooperated more times. Also, me and Markéta Dvořáková, the composer, which we composed more classical operas. One in 2006, it was called Dead with a question mark. It was also performed at the Warsaw Autumn Festival in 2007. And the next opera is called Alice in Bed, based on Alice in Wonderland theme, and the last one will be performed next week in Ostrava National Theatre. And it is such a way of cooperation with also in two first mentioned operas with rock. And TiAmo, Sára?
Yeah, TiAmo is an opera about women. We composed it for my ensemble Isha Trio. Isha means in Hebrew language a woman, and the ensemble exists from 2007. And yeah, it's about a woman and her roles in the life. Woman as a mother, as a as a lover, as a partner, as a, for example, profession, what they are doing in their lives, And co tam ještě je?
And the person who is also behind, so somehow lost and hidden personalities. They are moving the world, but they are not so visible like the man.
Okay.
For example, wives of a famous men, like what they did. And also there was some inspiration about a historical woman like Johanna from Ark. How to say in English? I don't know. Is this correct? Johanka z Arku.
Yes.
Yeah, Maria Theresia and others. Pomůžte mi?
There are about I don't know 12 or 13 scenes. And it is for 3 voices because all 3 girls are amazing singers in addition to piano playing, flute playing, and Vít was working first of all on the electronic tracks and using various material, improvised music by 3 girls and some performing of parts of already existing pieces and so on.
Yeah, we made it on diverse, as Ivo and Sára mentioned, on diverse attitudes or approaches, because we go up from the scenario, so from the concept, how the structure of the whole opera is running, and it was a mixture of music and conceptual dramaturgy, and according to concrete these 14 scenes, we mixed some parts which were pre-composed, and we are coming back to these basic principles what it was mentioned on the beginning. So, like for example, Sára piece to play, which is also some kind of
Key
red
points,
point, key
red
points, during this the whole piece, and the play has more meanings in the whole concept, because the woman who is playing with children, who could be also a part of the game, etc., and this is one way, and the other ways are scenes when we came from the concept and layered all these materials, partly precomposed structures, partly electronics. We worked also a lot with live processing, so fixed improvisation and co-composing after that process.
Let's say compromised music.
Yeah. Compromised music.
Which is the terms to combine improvisation and composition together. Some
examples. Yes. Maybe we can start with just a second. No. That's the beginning part where we are mixing electronics with recordings of existing samples, and then because that scene it's called aerobic, so it goes from these dancing to instruments.
There was also part of trailer.
Exactly, exactly.
Put it on the website.
Yes.
It's there. It's there.
Yeah.
I will be behind,
Yes.
watching you there, because I don't want to disturb.
Yeah. Sure. So
I'm with you.
Of course.
Still.
I think next 5 minutes and then
Discussion.
Yes, exactly. Well, maybe a bit diverse attitude, maybe something from Krasa, you think? Yeah. That part calls beauty, and actually it was based on improvisation. We just told her that some scene like that. Yeah, we just talked about the concept, and then these three, Sára, Hanna, and Lucia, this great performance. Because just Lucia, she's the singer in the group, but Sára and Hanna, they are also beautiful, performers and singers. So we told us that this scene would be perfect fitting in the scenario. So
it came actually very spontaneously. We just came to the Janáček Academy of Performing Arts, and we had some jam session. We went to the hall when the stars are only and doors that you can visit the room, but in the
stairs.
at the stairs we just make the jam session, and we start to improvise. And Viet, our great Viet, had with him the recording machine, and he put on, so it appeared just like this very simple way, and it was the first
Task.
Song or first task what we did, and finally we just decided to use it. So it was very spontaneous.
Actually our also one of procedure is actually to recording everything and to use it as a material totally seriously, so that we can use and we can transform it, or we can use it as it is. And that scene was the first one. I mean the second one, as it is.
Once also we recorded just our warm-upping, voice warm-upping, and he wasn't sure that it's so good that we can use it to the opera. It was just the warm-up, but finally we decided to not use it. But
because these spontaneous points are including so much energy. And and that's also what is somehow behind that. Actually, we suppose, or I suppose, and that the energy is one of more important things in producing music, music theater, operas, etc., etc. So, and especially in these spontaneous points, which are also collective, and that's another. It wouldn't appear if we wouldn't compose together, or if we, because if we just write the notes
and perform it,
the result would be different. And that's also important thing to know it as composer, because all of us, we are we are only one composer. We are composing diverse, from chamber to orchestral pieces, or also our own operas. But we are enjoying these theme composing because it brings something others. Yeah.
Maybe a few words to the technical things. There are ještě tam pust, prosím
Pak
tě.
diskuze?
Aha, já jsem právě chtěl jít úplně nakonec. ještě
Okay,
víc,
okay,
jako.
okay. You see there are two screens operated by from two independent laptops based on the mixture of objects on the base of a GL mixer, video mixer, which is done live, and one web camera, which allows also to make such a VJing, quasi VJing. Sára is playing piano, Anka is playing flute in addition to her voices. I play percussion and I operate some children toys and so on, and Vít is operating.
And I am playing live, laptop. Mixing diverse samples and processing this.
Yeah, I think that's.
Yeah. Or
Last.
shall we last some hopes, maybe? So that's it.
If you have some questions, or let's open the discussion
Yeah.
now.
And we are
Your
welcoming you.
approaches.
Yes, inviting you for the performance this evening
6 o'clock.
at 6 o'clock. Yeah, downstairs.
Maybe
Okay.
I have one question. Do you have any experience with teamwork? Teamwork?
Actually, I do. I'm constantly improvising,
Great.
and I want to ask you if you are working in such projects with non-professional musicians.
Not
or
yet.
only with-
Actually, but
because
you know,
I heard
you know,
you
the-
told it.
the whole different hearing program. What I mentioned.
Yes.
That's actually this, because all these children, because it is we are making workshops for children, for students, but also for adults or combined groups. So in this sense, yes, because and we are using it as a free tool, so these people can compose or comprise everything what they are thinking about, or we are using it also as a tool how to make better attitude to existing music. So something that you can experience what the composer was dealt in his piece. On that basis, they are composing these non-professionals, non-composers are composing, and then it is performed at the concert next to the existing piece. So actually on that basis, yes.
So what language are you using to communicate with them to describe what is the composition about, and how to do it in a collective way?
We try to minimize
Yeah.
the oral communication.
Yes.
Yeah? It means the projects, for example, starts with without words and only with
Starters.
some
Yeah.
place
and sound interaction.
Yeah, it works much better than to explain
Yeah.
what we will do now and so on and so on. Yeah.
Yes, because our experience is that actually everything what point the knowledge should be next. It should be after the experience. Yeah. And in terms of languages, we are using this what's common for that people. So
What they bring.
yes.
It is important fact that they are operating instruments which are not,
Not instruments.
classical music instruments.
yeah,
It
yeah.
means they either build up their own instruments or they can use any found
Gadgets,
objects or body clothes. I don't know what. Yeah, it means there is no precondition to know something, to be able to produce music. Yeah, and it allows
It's
to
for
have
everybody.
for everybody the same starting line.
We called it also barrier-free music education or music or composition.
Expectations as well.
Yes.
Yes, exactly, absolutely. And you know also that the way is the aim, not the product.
And this is a scenario for us going from the place, musical place, through hearing or listening to sounds which they are producing by themselves until the principles of improvisation and the basic principles of composition, and the final step is composition composed by themselves. For example, the score is a long sheet of paper with some graphical signs, and it can be conducted by children themselves or performed in more possible ways.
And from the other hand, when you're composing together, what do you do if you disagree with with each other?
You know, we are trying. That's also the point. What I mentioned when I mentioned that actually we realized that we don't need a policy, because if we are not agree, it is a natural part of the process. So it is not that we are thinking what is the best for the for the opera, for the piece, and for all of us together. So we are trying, to find the best. And you know, most of the time, if you are disappointed with something, it's more your problem, your own problem, because you have you are somehow in the box. And you think that actually this is only one solution. But the world doesn't work on that basis. The world, and that's fantastic, shows more and more, and plenty of opportunities how to solve that problem or how to go that way. And so it is, I mean, it is all the time important and useful for all of us. Just to realize again that actually maybe we can make together better solution. Then I suppose that, you know, that the point when I didn't agree with
Even if
yes.
in the beginning doesn't seem it like
Yeah.
for you it would be the best,
Yeah.
then maybe a few hours later or a few
Yeah.
days later you see as the indifferent point of view.
Yeah, so we are in that point. Myself, I am also all the time I'm asking if I am in the box or I am out of the box. If I am out of the box, then it's the question. If I am in the box, and it is mostly the case. I realized after 1 hour, after 2 hours, after 1 week, after 1 month, I was just in the box, and it was my problem.
Of course, very important are the meetings. Yeah, because it is not so that during the whole process we are
With good food and wine, of course.
Sure.
Yeah,
Tasting.
we are in different
helps.
places and not communicating at all. It means yes, it's necessary to have a certain schedule of meetings and to discuss all these possible conflicts and so on. But for me, it's a charm of this such a cooperation that you are creating impulses, but you are also receiving impulses of other
And the
members.
feedback immediately.
And you have to react and to rebuild your idea about directing of the piece in the moment, and it's I think it's very
Inspiring,
exciting.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I think there is one very useful point, I mean also a social point, what is not a typical starting point for composer. Because, you know, when I studied composition, I believe that actually I am the point where is the world turning. When I started to work for theater, I realized that actually I am just one little point in the big machine. And probably it is also not the good point, but it is useful to realize that. And I think the mixture of this, or somewhere in between, is a great outgoing point for cooperation like that. That actually I am coming with my best, and I am opening for things which are overwhelming me. And because, for example, and then a short switch to another cooperation with Tomáš Andrik, we are talking on again, we are talking and we are preparing the structure, and then we are composing totally separately. But the product or the final version of the composition is that after years we are thinking who composed what. So also we didn't have consultation or changing material during that period of composing. That time what we spent on the begin, and the kind of thinking can bring also something what's very similar while we are on a distance and we are composing on the distance. Yeah, and that's fantastic on the world. Well, so let's go to rehearsal.
Yeah, we have to work because we are a little bit late.
Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, Maestro.
Thank you.
2 seconds, to
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
It was great, we are making break, in fact, so stay online with us, because after 45 minutes we have another lecture by Pierre Jodlowski. Pierre Jodlowski is already in the cab, in a taxi,
Great.
running from the airport to us, so everything as planned.
Fantastic.
Even without some small details. Small or...
Exactly, or yeah. And everything is just a detail, It's just point of view and,
So what
a kind of perspective.
The venue?
Yeah.
Mark, we hope that the piano is also in a cab.
Yeah.
But, well,
Or
which
drone.
model? Because we are just